the biggest difference between like design and art was design is communicating the idea, and then art is questioning the idea.
Only real content is gonna last. All that other nonsense is here today and gone tomorrow.
And I think like as much as I love design, like that's a certain amount of like pure artistic expression that like the world needs to continue having the conversation. The biggest difference between like design and art was design is communicating the idea, and then art is questioning the idea. And I think it's important for us as a society to continue to have art, whether it's abstract or people don't get it, or like it's rude and offensive, or I don't understand why this exists, because it helps people to continue to question the idea of like, if everything's editable, should this thing be edited? And
Right.
when people make something that's garbage, or like, oh no, that toilet's not supposed to be there, or like this thing doesn't exist in that space, it helps people have the conversation of like, well, why doesn't it? Like,
Right.
defend it now, or question why you think the way that you think. And there's some people who love to live in that space of like question everything, and some people who hate to live in that space of like, I need structure and like dependable whatever. But I think even still, regardless of whatever side you're on, it's important to have those questions, because that breaks into the new, that builds out the new design that's going to be, the answer to that question that maybe nobody was asking. Like the old Henry Ford model of like, if I would have asked people what they wanted, I would have just built them a faster horse. And somebody questioned it of like, why can't we build this? Why can't we get to places like in a machine? Or why can't we like just take all this hunk of metal and turn it into a cart that like rolls by itself? Someone had to question that with the art of like, I want my wagon to just go instead of having to feed all these horses every day. And someone like guarantee had an artistic expression, or there was some person, some welder who was like, imagine this like toy wagon thing that like, what if it just rolled itself, or some little kid who's playing with wheels, and then eventually they're like, oh yeah, we can make this a thing. And that's where you get into the conversation of like the engineering, and then you build into the actual full design of like, all right, let's make it function so it communicates exactly how it's supposed to work to the end person. And then someone who finally gets to the end version of that thing, and then we have a car, they question it to being like, all right, well, what if the whole thing was electric instead of gas? What if the car drove itself? What if however many years in the future, like it drives itself and it speaks to the cloud and does whatever different thing on Mars? And like it just continues to go on and on and on.
No, you said something huge when you said design communicates the idea, art questions the idea. Like as soon as you said that, I wrote that down. That's like our gem of the day. That was great. Right. And like off of that, one of my other favorite quotes by Daniel Arsham, he says, make the things you need to see exist in the world. And that's so important that like I think everybody take that to heart, because that's how we progress as humanity, like having that zeitgeist